today's session, right, I would also like let you know that this is just not primarily for your IFT session. This will also cover your IFT session plus your SNAP plus any other upcoming examination which has got general awareness in it, right? And would be great that if you could also make short notes from it, if at all you can. Since remember that general awareness is just not something that is there in your written phase, but you would require a lot of input from general awareness in your group discussion and personal interview. So let's start with the current affairs. First, we would be dealing with the national affairs that have actually worked out here in India. So there in a lot of things that have shaped up in India. So we begin with the first thing, which is and this was about the Finance Commission, which was set by the former RBI Governor Y.V. Reddy. Now, the thing to be noted out here is that this is the 14th Finance Commission, and the previous one was, of course, the 13th Finance Commission, which was headed by Mr. Vijay Kelkar, and the commission is supposed to give its recommendations, and they will be effective from April 2015. And the Finance Commission as such is always set up every 5 years, and it is the Article 280 of the Constitution which provides the input for here. So things to be noted that this is the 14th Finance Commission. The previous one was 13th, which was headed by Mr. Kelkar, and the present one by Mr. ex-RBI Governor Y.V. Reddy. And the recommendations would be effective April 2015. The next thing was, of course, there's a lot of furor over the CST compensation for the states, since the union government is hell-bent on introducing the GST, that is the goods and services tax, which should be uniform across the country. So since tax, which forms also a part of the state list and also as for the center list, so therefore this was a contentious issue wherein the center was trying to bring one uniform tax, due to which, as you can see, there were also taxes which were reduced in order for the VAT to make, or that is value added tax, to make the headway. And as such, this time it is 34,000 crore rupees which has been sanctioned by the union government to be paid to the states for the loss that they incurred because of the reduction in taxes. How often, pages 3, if you ask how often does this commission change, I have mentioned there it is there applicable for 5 years. So the recommendations would be there for 5 years. Okay. So this is the amount. The thing to be taken away from this is that 34,000 crore rupees was given as CST compensation to the states. Of course, this is no wonder that India celebrated its 64th Republic Day. But the thing is that of late I have witnessed that there are questions wherein they ask that who was the chief guest during the parade. So this time the chief guest at the 64th Republic Day in India was the King of Bhutan, that is Jigme Khesar Namgyel Wangchuk. You might not be pleased by the name too much, but you can straight away take him as JKN Wangchuk. Typically, SNAP or IFT has got a tendency to ask such questions. So the chief guest, King. Tejasvi, Mr. Thinley was supposed to come, but it changed to JKN Wangchuk. Yeah, that is correct, Tejasvi. Okay. And this is something that has rocked our nation, the recommendations on sexual crimes. So the question that can be asked here, it would be that which is the panel which is sitting for this. So it is a 3-member commission panel headed by Mr. Justice Verma. That is Justice Verma panel, basically called. And this was, of course, done in the light of the infamous rape incident that happened in New Delhi, 16 December 2012. So the question is that which of these panels gave the recommendations on the sexual crimes? So that is Justice Verma panel. SNAP definitely tends to ask questions from the sovereign tribes of India at times. So this is the Supreme Court banned the tourist entry into the Jarawa tribe habitat of Andamans. Now, the Jarawa tribes are one of those to be extinct tribes which stay there in the Andaman Nicobar Island. And as you can see, they are just today, as of now, they are just 250 or 400 people left in that tribe. They are also known as the Aborigines. This is similar to the Aborigines in Australia. and it was said that these were the descendants of those people who actually migrated from Africa to settle in various parts of the world. They are still dependent on nature, the Jarawa tribes, and it is at times also alleged that they also at times eat human flesh. This was really interesting, wherein the total number of high courts in India has gone up from 21 to 24, with the opening up of three new high courts in Tripura, Manipur, and Meghalaya. So it can be noted down that the three new high courts have opened up in Tripura, Manipur, and Meghalaya, all of these northeastern states. Probably a strategy for India to look towards the east and strengthening its eastern boundaries. And another question that can be taken up from here is that the total number of high courts present today in India is 24. Yeah, the National Food Security Bill, which was a big announcement from the ruling party. Things to be taken care in this is what is that percentage that is around 67% of India's 120 crore population, and it guarantees 5 kilogram of food grain per person per month. And the bill, yeah, that would be impacting around 800 crore people. The provisions made would be that rice would be made available at 3 rupees a kilo. Wheat will cost 2 rupees a kilo, and coarse cereal grains would be sold at rupee 1 a kilo. The estimate that they had set for this was around 90,000 crore rupees, which has actually shot. It is something in the range of around 142,000 crore rupees now at this point of time. Yes, post the infamous rape incident, there were a lot of women initiatives taken in the country, and the first all women post office was inaugurated by Mr. Kapil Sibal, the Union Minister of Communications and IT. And the name of this particular post office is something that can be asked, that it is called Project Arrow Office. And basically, the other information is just ancillary, wherein it consists of 3 counters. 2 will be multi-purpose services, and the third one would be to facilitate the sale of stamps. So, question to be taken care of is that India's first all-women post office inaugurated in New Delhi, and it is known as Project Arrow Office. A lot of e-governance initiatives have also taken place in the last year, since the last year. And the electronics project proposal system, that is EPPS, was also something. So Mr. Kapil Sibal was on a launching spree. He also launched this electronics project proposal system, and this is basically about strengthening the R&D process in India, where a lot of paperwork is done, and this would eliminate the use of paperwork to its capacity. So as you can see, this brings the entire chain of filing a proposal for submission, looking for raising the finances for the proposal, and also seeing it executed. Everything is now online. It also takes care of the excessive bureaucracy in the meanwhile. Yeah, this can be also a question wherein plastic voter identity cards. All of you might be having your voter ID cards, but none of them are plastic. They're all paper-based. So this is a plastic voter identity card, and they were to be issued first in Assam and Nagaland, as decided by the Election Commission. And an offshoot of the question can be from here that the Deputy Election Commissioner is Mr. Alok Shukla. However, the people would have a choice of whether to have a plastic voter ID card or a paper-based voter ID card. A path-breaking incident happened wherein the Supreme Court of India rejected the Novartis' patent plea for cancer drug called Glivec. Now, the questions can be that what is the name of the cancer drug? Again, a typical question that can be asked at IIT, because it deals with anything related with international business events or any event that shapes up or affects India as such. So the company was Novartis, which is a Swiss drug manufacturer, and the product was Glivec. And the patent was rejected because the patent was rejected because what Novartis was trying to do is that it was trying to it was trying to add a small salt to it and saying that since this is a new product, it will be again governed by the patent rights. But the Supreme Court said the other way, and now the particular medicine has now become a generic medicine. As you might be aware that there are two kinds of medicine: the generic medicine, which is manufactured by other drug manufacturers, then the company which actually created the original molecule. And you can see the cost of this drug, which used to be around 2,600 US dollars per month, has come down now to 175 US dollars in India. And this has also, this, as you'll see in the later slide, this also opened up the floodgates for other such initiatives in this sector. So Novartis was drug maker, and the drug was Gleevec. Okay, this is what I was trying to say, that there's a particular salt which was a beta crystalline salt. Nothing much to be discussed out here, but this is just for your information. Evergreening is a process that I was trying to say, wherein the certain drug innovators, they try to renew their patent rights by incorporating minor changes into their original molecule, and then citing evidences that since this is a new molecule, they would require fresh patents on this. So this is called evergreening. Another incident that also rocked India was the killing of two fishermen by Italian Marines. And the question to be noted out here, they might ask you the names of these Marines. The first one was Massimilano, Latorre, and Salvatore Girone. Interesting thing to note out here was that it was earlier quite strong objection placed in front by the Kerala government, wherein they wanted to decide over the case themselves, but the Supreme Court intervened and then said that it is not under the jurisdiction of Kerala, and a special body was actually set up to decide over the case. Also, you would be interested to know that these two Marines, they actually went out last year for their Christmas celebrations, but they refused to come back, and it was sort of a diplomatic win for Indian diplomacy when they actually forced Italy to send these two fishermen back to India. The case is still sub judice. Yes, this was again a first for India, quite a proud moment when India first indigenously developed the rotavirus vaccine, which is Rotavac, and the rate earlier used to cost around 1,000 rupees per dose, which has now come down to 54 rupees. It was a PPP, that is private-public partnership between Department of Biotechnology from Government of India and Bharat Biotech. And Rotavac is actually given for caused due to rotavirus bacteria, and it accounts for 22% of global deaths that occur due to diarrhea causing rotavirus. So diarrhea is a disease. It's not a disease, but actually a symptom which is caused by rotavirus, and Rotavac will take care of that at a remarkably reduced price of 54 rupees per dose. And questions that can come is the rate, the vaccine, and the companies which was there, that is Bharat Biotech. Interesting to know, typically also ask questions that this year is known as the year of what. So the year 2015, as decided by the Union Cabinet of India, was that this year would be the water conservation year. Something for this or to be asked, something that can be asked there in the interview of IRMA, the issue of social concerns. Union Cabinet approved changes to Ajivika. Now, Ajivika is a part of the National Rural Livelihoods Mission. So this would basically be about women's self-help groups. Self-help groups are basically women who come together and lend and borrow money between them for income generation purposes. Venkat, you cannot pause it because this is a live session that's going on, and this session is planned for at least minimum 1 hour or 45 minutes from now onwards. Union Cabinet has approved the provision of interest subvention. So you're welcome, Venkat. The interest subvention means wherein interest is foregone or it is reduced. So the women SHGs, they will avail loans up to 3 lakh rupees. And as I said earlier, the self-help groups lend and borrow money amongst themselves for income generation purposes. So this was Ajivika, which was a part of the National Rural Livelihoods Mission. Uh, Again, something on the lines, continuing on something on the lines of PACE or IRMA. IRMA, as such, I'm talking about the interview process. The Ministry of Housing and Urban Poverty Alleviation proposed the launching of NULM. So NULM is the National Urban Livelihoods Mission. Remember, there was something called the Rural Livelihoods Mission, but this is the National Urban Livelihoods Mission in its 12th five-year plan, of course. And this will replace Swarn Jayanti Shahri Rozgar Yojana, SJSRY. India has got a host of Piyusha. Yes, the event has started. We started at sharp 7:35. Sorry, sharp 7:30. So SJSRY is now replaced by NULM, National Urban Livelihoods Mission, and it will focus on primary issues that relate to urban poverty, such as providing wage employment, self-employment opportunities, and Sagar, I said that the plastic voter ID card would begin first in Assam and Nagaland, and they would be the first states wherein these plastic voter ID cards would be issued as per the election commission. And also, I said that it depends upon the person who is actually applying for the card, that whether he needs a paper-based card or a plastic card. Okay, so SJSRY done. This was again something going on the lines of social concerns. The Union Finance Minister launched Mediclaim facility. I'm sorry, Nupur, the slides will not. I don't think so that they would be repeated. Incidentally, he just asked and I remembered, so I replied it. Coming back to the presentation, the Union Finance Minister launched the Mediclaim facility for farmers holding KCC. KCC stands for Kisan Credit Cards. Remember that this was only by the KCC, which were issued by Dena Bank. So Mediclaim facility was given to them. As such, here UIIC stands for United India Insurance Company. So along with the KCC, they would also enjoy cashless facility for around 4,200 hospitals all over India. Vedika, I am not sure about whether this video would be put online, because I'm not the person who's doing it. As per the past incidences, yes, it gets, but there are certain seminars which also don't get put in the video mode for later viewing. Yes, again, environment was again at the prime concern of India, and Union government rolled out 43,000 crore rupees green corridor renewable energy. Now, this is one of its kind in India, and also one of the biggest in the world, wherein Germany would be helping the Union government to facilitate the amalgamation of electricity produced by non-renewable resources. So there is something called a grid change, which happens when electricity is produced by various methods. And since there's a difference between in the frequencies of the electricity produced from different means, it takes a bit of adjustment to be done. The company that will launch Rotavac is Bharat Biotech. So coming back to this smart grid, wherein green corridor would be there for renewable energy, 43,000 crore rupees sanctioned, and Germany will be assisting India into getting this. Yes, so again, something that is the rule of the day. The Union Cabinet has raised the OBC creamy layer criteria to 6 lakh rupees a month. So, of course, the OBC is categorized under creamy and non-creamy layers. So, the creamy layer is now revised to 6 lakh rupees. Earlier, it was 4.5 lakh rupees. Again, a lot of this has happened in the drug space also. In Union government banned anti-diabetic drug pioglitazone and painkiller analgin. Questions like these often come in IFT, wherein they are asked to match questions from drug have featured earlier in IFT and SNAP also. So Drug Controller General of India, that is DCGI, have banned various drugs, which includes painkiller nimesulide, which I think is still used in India at many shops, anti-diabetic medicine rosiglitazone, and antibiotic galafloxacin. So these are also the sort of drugs which have been banned. So analgin and pioglitazone plus these medicines. You can take a quick note, because I know the names are difficult to jot. Kumardeep, I am not sure whether these PPTs will be shared because I'm the chief presenter of this presentation. I don't know about the technical details about it. Okay, so we move forward. This was again an interesting event that happened. The BSNL decided to put an end to 160-year-old telegraph service in India. So the question that can be asked is that from 15 July 2013 onwards, there will be nothing like telegraph in India. So that is to say, till 14th July 12 midnight, you could have sent the last telegraph message. Incidentally, there was a lot of rush to the nearest post offices to send to send the last telegrams to the people. Telegraph services were first introduced in India by William O'Shaughnessy. He was a British doctor and inventor who for the first time used different codes to send a message way back in 1850. Okay, yes, Tejaswi, Rahul Gandhi was the last. Don't know whether it was a gimmick or not, but yeah, Rahul Gandhi was the last. So questions, 160-year-old. Tejaswi, why him? Say thanks to the ruling party. Union government. So it was 12 June 2013 which was when it was decided. So 14 July, the telegraph breathed its last 160 years. Again, coming back to certain social concerns, Ministry of Rural Development launched the scheme Roshni. So the question that can be asked is which of the following is a Ministry of Rural Development initiative, which is Project Roshni, which is basically to train the youth in the Naxalite affected areas. Also important to note is that there is also a similar program conducted by the Union government in the because it might be a problem with the internet or something. I'm trying my best to be loud and clear. Yes, so coming back to the presentation, the a project Roshni, which is launched by the Union Rural Development Ministry for the 24 Naxal affected districts in India. Don't worry, you'll not get a question wherein you'll be have to enumerate all those 24 Naxal affected districts. Still, you can read up for that. Yeah, I was talking about a similar program is also run by the government of India in Jammu and Kashmir. Fine, I get that, Vikas. And it is named by the Himayat project, so which is already working on the similar lines in Jammu and Kashmir. So this new project is Roshni. Parallel project running on the same lines is Himayat project. And the districts where it has already been working is Sukma, Chhattisgarh, West Singhbhum in Jharkhand. Sukma is one of those places where the district commissioner of that particular district was abducted. Paul Menon, if I remember it correctly, yes, it was Alex Paul Menon, who was the DC who was abducted by the Maoists in Sukma. So Project Roshni, parallel is Himayat project, and these two places where it has already started. Before CST tax topic, I am not keeping account, or probably I think that would be 3 or 4, at the max 5. Yes, this is again a fresh lease. Finally, India, as I also discussed earlier, that India has started looking east, strengthening its eastern frontiers. Mohini pilot means something that is done on an experimental basis. It has not been effectively rolled out. So in pilot basis, whenever something is done, they basically see what can be the probable loopholes in that particular program before they go out for a real rollout. Right. So it's just like on an experimental basis. So yes, as I was talking about the India's look east policy, wherein India is trying to strengthen its eastern frontiers. The cabinet committee has sanctioned the proposal of Army to raise a mountain strike corps around the entire line of actual control with China. So this would be approximately 50,000 additional troops required, and that would incur a total cost of around 65,000 crore rupees in the coming 7 years. This particular thing has been done. So this is not just a one-time go, but 65,000 crore rupees would be distributed over the coming 7 years. Important to note here is that the headquarters of this mountain strike corps would be at Panagarh in West Bengal, and of course it will have its 2 divisions in Bihar and Assam. And yes, this is for the first time that, barring the few incidents that have happened at Daulatabad Oldie sector, I think I've got a few slides ahead. on that issue also. So India, for the first time, will be in a position to launch an offense that is to attack in case of any aggression from the Chinese side. Earlier, such initiatives were being taken only in its western frontier with Pakistan. So finally, the government of India has woken up to the issues. Yes, again, first, women officers have been started in being getting inducted in the BSF, that is Border Security Force. Women officers, women constables were there in BSF or in the central security forces, but there were no officers actually. So BSF is the first one to have them, and two other. To the present time, women could only get into the combat uniform in officer cadre. In the remaining ones, that is CRPF and CASF. So BSF, it is the first time that women officers have getting officer cadre jobs in BSF. Another social concern, the government has launched MGPSY, that is Mahatma Gandhi Pravasi Suraksha Yojana, basically targeting people who are working in the Gulf and are faced with the adversities that they face there in the Gulf region when they come back. So this is for the blue collar Indian workers in the Gulf area, and this would include life insurance and which would cover natural death coverage during the period of the coverage of the insurance. In GPSI, Mahatma Gandhi Pravasi Suraksha Yojana for the blue collar workers in Gulf. Mr. Chidambaram was there again for the skill development. So he unveiled the National Skill Certification and Monetary Reward Scheme. The question can be asked, Ritesh, blue collar, there are two kinds of jobs primarily in the organization. Primarily what you are preparing for from the MBA point of perspective, you are preparing for a white collar job. Blue collar jobs, which are basically mechanical jobs, which happens on the shop floor, which does not require much of mental skills, but more of physical skills. Yes, so we are talking about P. Chidambaram, unveil the National Skill Certification and Monetary Reward Scheme. Yeah, Rishabh, I'll try, but I think that we have got lots and lots to cover. So, but yeah, I'll try to be reasonable with my speed. So, yes, so the National Skill Certification program launched by P. Chidambaram. This will have a project outflow of around 1,000 crore rupees, and the scheme is branded as STAR. So the question can be STAR, a new scheme raised by Government of India, started by the Government of India, is for what? So it is actually for skill development. It stands for Standard Training Assessment and Reward. Standard Training Assessment and Reward, which is basically is meant for promotional purposes. Thanks, Shraddha. This is for promotional purposes, which envisages monetary reward, which in turn will, in a sense, financially help those who wish to acquire new skills. So basically, it is about giving you skills, employability skills, and also giving them monetary reward on completion of these skill development programs. As you might be aware, that India has got a shortage of employable workforce, people who are employment ready. So India requires upgraded skill for the industry. MGPSI stands for Mahatma Gandhi Pravasi Suraksha Yojana, MGPSY. Okay, as we move ahead, this was again a question. India's first cyber forensic laboratory was inaugurated at the Tripura High Court. So it is again a first cyber forensic laboratory inaugurated at the Tripura High Court. Remember the three new high courts, Tripura one of them. Yes, and it was inaugurated. So it is not much to note that it was by whom it was inaugurated. But yes, what you should know is that this will basically try to decentralize the entire judicial process in India slowly. This is just the first phase of it. By decentralization, I mean that whatever is happening, you can actually access all the development happening in the high courts, all the pending cases, all the people who are presiding over the cases from any particular point of contact, as long as you are connected to the network. So as you can see, the cyber forensic laboratory would send automatic SMS alert, not just to the lawyers, but also to the litigants regarding the details of the case. So CFL first of India at Tripura High Court. Again, a fantastic thing. This I think that this might also be a part of a few group discussions in the coming time. That now, since the company's bill 2012 passed in the Rajya Sabha, uh, what are the provisions in that? Or so an important provision of that was an important provision of that was the three new court set were at Tripura, Arunachal Pradesh. The three new courts, the three new high courts were set at Tripura, Arunachal Pradesh, and Nagaland. Correct me if I'm wrong for people who have noted it down. Okay, so the company's bill, Sachin Pilot was at the forefront, and Meghalaya. Thank you so much. Uh, yes, so the company's bill was launched in Rajya Sabha on 8th August, and it was earlier uh, okay, Cyber Forensic Laboratory, CFL, Cyber Forensic Laboratory. So yeah, the company's bill was passed. Mr. Sachin Pilot was at the forefront in getting it passed, and the legislation now replaces 57-year-old Companies Act 1956. So it was not updated, though it had its own share of amendments done, but it was not checked overall as an act. So it is now Companies Bill 2012, and there is a new law which would require companies to meet certain set of criteria to at least 2%. Now this is to be understood, and also yes, earlier there was no provision for CSR. There was nothing like a company is mandatorily there to go for CSR. CSR was finally being taken up. There was just guidelines from the government. There was nothing like mandatory, right? Plus, companies were free to decide whether they wish to go for CSR or not. So now they would be at least required. Great, Tejas. Now there were at least 2% of average profits in the last 3 years would go towards corporate social responsibility activities. Also, something to be remembered here is that uh, companies which would fail to do so would be reprimanded by the government. They would be asked for the reasons and explanation, and if not found satisfactory, they can also be taken to task. And the other important was that the number of companies an auditor can serve now to 20, besides bringing more. So this will bring more clarity into the thing. So an auditor can only serve now to 20 companies. Uh, yes, a new marine training academy has been launched now at Tuticorin, and that was launched. The date is not important, but what is important is that the new marine training academy is to be launched at Tuticorin. Yes, the company's bill is applicable to all the companies in the gambit, because you are registered as a company only as a part of the Companies Act by the provisions of Companies Act. Again, a proud moment for India. The C-17 Globemaster 3 aircraft was inducted by the Tuticorin, Cochin. C-17 Globemaster Cochin, that is Kerala. C-17 Globemaster 3 aircraft was inducted in the Air Force and Union Defense Ministry, A.K. Antony. And also recently, something that is not covered here, but because it was a recent development, Admiral Gorshkov, rechristened as INS Vikramaditya, has been inducted in the Indian Naval Service. That is Admiral Gorshkov, renamed as or rechristened as INS Vikramaditya. So it is now been inducted into the Indian Naval Service. Yes, Shrey, it is the same Glowmaster aircraft which landed in Ladakh. It was a show of power from the Indian side. So important things to note is that it would be in service at the Hindon Air Base near Delhi, that is Ghaziabad basically. And this will give a lot of operational flexibility to the Indian military, since it can actually transfer anytime 450 fully geared troops and carry a load of 80 tons. Earlier, we used to have Russian IL-76 as the biggest aircraft. The C-7 Globemaster is manufactured by, write the name of INS Vikramaditya, Admiral Gorshkov. Admiral would be ADMIRAL. Gorshkov would be GORSHKHOV. GORSHKHOV, Gorshkov. So yeah, I was there at that. Globemaster is actually being manufactured by Boeing from the US. Okay, a question that can be asked is the Tax Administration Reform Commission is headed by whom? So it is none other than Mr. Parthasarathy Shome. So Mr. Parthasarathy Shome is heading the Tax Administration Reform Commission. So basically, this would be giving the government inputs on the various mechanisms to discuss about the tax governance issues in India, and it would also suggest measures for deepening and widening the tax base. That is to include more and more number of people in the tax-paying ambit. So Mr. Parthasarathy Shome, heading the Tax Administration Reform Commission. Yes, Lok Sabha also passed a new institute. It has been raining institutes since this is an election year. The next year is an election year. So Lok Sabha passed Rajiv Gandhi National Aviation University bill. So this is a new aviation university which would be, of course, set at Miss Sonia Gandhi's place. No, Mrs. Sonia Gandhi's Amethi. Rai Bareli. If I'm correct, can someone correct me? It is Rai Bareli, the constituency of anyone? Rahul Gandhi, fine. Sonia from, okay, fine. So the university which is proposed under the bill will come up at Raebareli in Uttar Pradesh, and to the best of my knowledge, I think it is Sonia Gandhi constituency. Yes, it is Sonia Gandhi. The Union Government of India approved the proposal for setting up of BRLF. So that is Bharat. Yes, Udit, thanks. Sonia Gandhi is Raebareli. Amethi is Rahul Gandhi. Uh, okay. So the Union Government of India approved proposal for setting up a BRLF. BRLF is Bharat Rural Livelihood Foundation. Important to note is that it would be an independent charitable society under the Societies Registration Act 1860. And this would be actually there to facilitate civil society organizations, CSOs, as such, and in partnership with government for transforming livelihoods and lives of rural households. So this is one more initiative launched, but in a Shivam, I don't think so. I'll be doing any questions. We could civil society. You found the Anna Hazare campaign. These are people who are actually representatives of the civil of the civilians actually, who form an interface between the government and the civil society. That is the civilians. So what started as Anna Hazare's movement was also a civil society organization. Uh, BRLF, I'm not sure because it has not been incorporated yet. It has just been approved that there will be an independent charitable society. So, Rahul Gandhi's constituency is Amethi, and I would please ignore my incoherence when it comes to politics. I'm not much a follower of politics. It just came to my part that yes, I somehow remembered that it was Amethi and Raebareli for the mother and son duo. So this is BRLF, Bharat Rural Livelihood Foundation. One difference is that it would be a charitable society, not a flagship movement or a program by the government. And there was also a National Institute of Solar Energy for Research and Development, which is being envisaged by the Union government, and it would come up in Gurgaon, which would be replacing Solar Energy Center. Existing Solar Energy Center Gurgaon will be rechristened as NICE or National Institute of Solar Energy. So, a government of India has been pushing a lot on the non-renewable, on the renewable sources of energy. Of course, this is one step in that direction. National Institute of Solar Energy coming up in Gurgaon, replacing Solar Energy Center. As I said, renewable energy is the forte. So there is an ultra mega green solar power project coming up in Rajasthan, where there is Sambar Salts Limited. There is a particular, it's a Government of India enterprise, Sambar Salts Limited. So it is coming up there, wherein it will house the world's largest solar power project, and the overall capacity would be 4,000 megawatts, making it the world's largest solar power project. So coming up in Rajasthan, Sambar Salt Limited area, close to the Sambar Lake, and it would be generating 4,000 megawatts. Now, this is again something that can again be asked in tests or again, as I said time and again during the interviews of IRMA, 158 Eklavya model residential schools for tribal schools to be opened. So Eklavya, as you know from the Mahabharata, was the disciple who secretly learned his tricks from or the art of war from Dronacharya. So Eklavya, since he was a tribe, so these tribal, so these schools are actually named after Eklavya. Uh, Sir, why should some industries have limited? I don't get what is limited. The capacity of the power plant was 4,000 megawatts, and that is why it is called Ultra Mega Power Plant. I didn't get, Praveen, why some countries industries have limited while some don't. I don't understand. If it is limited, you're talking about a limited company that depends upon the way it is registered. Yes, the world's largest is in Saudi Arabia, and that is functional, but India's is yet to get functional. So we are talking about 158 Eklavya Model Residential School for tribal students, and this is basically for ST students, and they would be given facilities to so that they come and be a part of the mainstream. Another, I as I talked earlier about. Yes, Tejasvi, it depends upon the way you incorporate a company, whether it's a privately held company. In order to be a public limited company, you should be issuing shares to the public. That is, you go for an IPO, initial public offering. Then you're called a public limited company. A private limited company is where the shares are privately held. Yes, coming to the drugs issues, as I discussed, a lot has happened on the drug issues also, and IFT typically gives you questions wherein they ask you to match the parent company of the drug with the drug that they manufacture. So this one was again a big shot in the arm for generic drugs, wherein there was compulsory licensing required for Bristol Myers Squibb. There's a company which has got an anti-cancer drug called dasatinib. So this drug is used in treatment of chronic myeloid leukemia, which is blood cancer. And earlier, the DIPP also ruled for Bayer's company Nexavar, which is also an anti-cancer drug, and Natco Pharma was given the rights to manufacture this drug generically. So Bristol BMS is also it's quite famous as BMS, but Bristol Myers Squibb's drug dasatinib is going to be manufactured now in India. And earlier, the same similar kind of ruling went for Nexavar, which was a drug by Bayer. Earlier, few medicines which have also gone in the same way were Roche's Herceptin, Bristol Myers again Spiracle, that is dasatinib, that is its market name, and Exampora. So BMS has got dasatinib or Exampora, and earlier we talked about Roche's Herceptin. So you can be asked to match these drugs. You can note down the drug names: BMS, dasatinib, and Exampora. Roche's Herceptin, and Bayer's Nexavar. Natco Pharma is given the rights to manufacture it generically. Just slide. Yes, India Post launched international money transfer service, wherein you could transfer money globally, and the service is called Instant Cash. It is started in partnership with Wall Street Exchange, a company of UAE's Emirates Post Group in New Delhi. As you can see, there's not much money will be available for payment immediately, and that is for international money transfer. RuPay is something else. RuPay is a payment platform, just like we have got Visa. We have got Visa is again a payment platform. Likewise, RuPay is a payment platform which has been started by India government. It is India's own, and it has also now gone global. So you can actually pay at merchant at merchant stores swiping cards, which has through the RuPay channel. So India Post instant cash for international money transfers. Yeah, the VVPAT Supreme. Now this is again, since it is the next year is an election year, questions from that can also be asked. So keeping that into mind, the Supreme Court has directed Election Commission to install VVPAT system. It can be asked as what is the full form of VVPAT, where they can give you 4 different options. So VVPAT stands for Vote Verifier Paper Audit Trail. Vote Verifier Paper Audit Trail. It is a new initiative of the Election Commission of India to ensure free and fair elections. So, before that would be too much. You don't know the enormity of tasks that I have at hand. I have to complete a lot in the time allotted. I'll try my best to be slow. Yesterday, it was used in Manipur election for the first time, VVPAT. So wherein it enables the electors, it enables the people who go for election to see a printout of their ballot displaying the name, election symbol, and the serial number of the chosen candidate. However, something to be remembered is that it cannot be taken back to the voter's place. So this will again aid in physical verification of the votes in EVMs. So VVPAT, vote, verifier, paper, audit trail, as correctly said by someone in the channel. Did I miss something? Yes, there is also a nota that is none of them. Yes, and it was used for the first time in Manipur. Okay, we move ahead. And yes, this was again reigning institutions in India because of thanks to the election. What is KYC? KYC stands for Know Your Customer. Know Your Customer. These are basically the details that are asked by whenever you go to try to open a bank account. So the documents that furnish that yes, this certifies your validity as an individual that you're trying to portray there. KYC, Know Your Customer. The first mega food park in Uttar Pradesh established at Jagdishpur. So this would basically its name is Shaktiman Mega Food Park. I don't know what gave them that name, but yeah, Shaktiman Mega Food Park, food park with assistance under Tanuj, Union Food Minister. We'll be doing a separate set of the ministries. Okay. So Shaktiman Mega Food Park was set up with assistance under scheme of Mega Food Parks, and it will be developed by the assistance of Aditya Birla Group. So few things to be noted. Name Shaktiman, Shaktiman Mega Food Park at Jagdishpur in UP, and it would be assisted by use of a food park is basically it will help small and medium sized entrepreneurs, SHGs and farmer group to set up food processing industries. If you set up your unit in these food parks, you get a subvention in the interest. Subvention interest means you get loan at reduced price. You get electricity, water at subsidized, so that you can actually basically it is a boost to the manufacturing sector. It also generates a lot of employment, so that is the use of the food park out there. It's a segregated area for such initiatives. Union, again, quite a few things happening on the medicinal front. There is a vaccine now against Japanese encephalitis. It affects the brain. It is a disease which affects the brain, and it is called GenVac, JE. Union Health and Family Welfare Minister Ghulam Nabi Azad was there, who actually launched this particular vaccine. Nilesh, that is an extremely current affair topic, so I don't think so that would be asked in the examination. Still, if you wish to know, in the Gulf region, it was the issue wherein the Gulf people only wanted their people to stay there and do their work, and they didn't need any expatriates. Expatriates mean people who come from other countries. Dear the name Praveen, the name of the disease is Japanese encephalitis. So it is world over known as Japanese encephalitis, and so therefore there's a vaccine developed against it. So it is called GenVac. It was developed by the scientists of National Institute of Virology, which is in Pune. Can be a question asked to you. Where is National Institute of Virology located? In Pune. And ICMR, that is Indian Council of Medical Research, that is at Hyderabad, and also Bharat Biotech Limited at Hyderabad. So this company was also there in the manufacturing of Rotavac. And it is India's first indigenously developed vaccine for treating Japanese encephalitis. We all know about this. Telangana would be the new states, and the new state will have geographical area of 10 of the 23 districts of undivided Andhra Pradesh. The districts that will be a part of the new state, you can quickly take a note: Adilabad, Karimnagar, Khammam. You can find this on the net, but this that I wanted to highlight was that you should also try to remember a few districts which are not the few districts, but the districts which will be a part of that. So that is Telangana, and Hyderabad being the capital for them in the coming time. We move now to the current affairs which have rocked the world. That is international current affairs. We'll move now from the borders of India to the borders of the world. And again, this can be a question. Snap is typically very quirky when they ask, and they have the habit of asking anything in the GK. So they can also ask you that which year is this as per the Chinese calendar. So this is the year of snake, and China has launched a postage stamp in that. You might find it again quirky that why would someone ask this, but remember, whenever we have a country which is sort of ruling this world, you are out to know certain things about it. So this is the year of snake. Let's see what it does. Yes, Sri Lankan president impeached first woman chief justice of the country over graft issues. So Mahinda Rajapaksa, who is the president of Sri Lanka, and he got removed the first chief justice of the country, Sri Rani Bandaranaike. Remember, this is different from Sri Mavo Bandaranaike. This is Sri Rani Bandaranaike, and she was found guilty of corruption charges, financial irregularities, basically. If you wish to know again, that there was quite a lot of hue and cry over her impeachment, because none from the judiciary, from the Sri Lankan judiciary, actually wanted her to go. But it was the Sri Lankan president who insisted on the impeachment. So Sri Rani Bandaranaike, the first woman chief justice of Sri Lanka. Another thing that would have also made to your knowledge was that the recent CHOGM meeting, that is Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, which recently concluded in India. No, it was not conducted in Jaffna. Jaffna is the northern part of Sri Lanka, and wherein the UK Prime Minister actually visited Jaffna. So the CHOGM was conducted in Sri Lanka, and where India refused, Mauritius also refused, Canada also refused for sending their head of ministries. The Indian foreign minister went. Now, a basic few questions from which can also come about who is the present president. So Czech Republic got Milos Zeman as the president from there. That is Czech Republic, Milos Zeman. Interested to know that Czech Republic is now it's totally different now from Czechoslovakia. Some light on CHOGM. Commonwealth Head of Government's meeting was basically there to. It is an event wherein all the Commonwealth nations come together and they have a meeting on the recent developments in the world that is happening. It is much of a. It is I personally, if you talk to me, then I would say that it is archaic, because today Commonwealth, it does not stand much of a chance in the present economic scenario, since UK is already getting rattled by the European crisis. So this was basically wherein Commonwealth countries came together, they discussed the issues around the world. But one of the most rather irritating point of things that happened. Irritating things that happened there was that the war crimes that was supposedly conducted by or rather done by the Sri Lankans over the Tamils, came to the forefront, where the world was asking for a probe for a human right probe into the incidents. So that was something that was actually playing the spoil spot there. Mayank asked that how exactly a Commonwealth nation defined and who decides it. Well, the mighty decides it, because Commonwealth started by the UK. So all those countries which have been under the UK participation are a part of the Commonwealth. Yes, even the mighty Australia is a part of the Commonwealth. Why didn't India send its minister? Well, these were perfectly very political motivations behind it. I wouldn't say political motivations, but political arrangements that were to be made, since this was a sensitive issue for the people of citizen of India who reside in the state of Tamil Nadu. So since there were atrocities done against the Tamils, uh, and since Sri Lanka was not opening up for the probe to be done there, uh, and so therefore there was an issue wherein the Tamil people, they said that we should not be sending our prime minister to the event because Sri Lanka is not agreeing for a probe into the war crimes conducted against the Tamils. Czech Republic, previously called Slovakia. No, Czech was not previously called Slovakia. It was earlier called Czechoslovakia. So both of them bifurcated, and we had Czech and Slovakia. Woman Chief Justice ever, I think Kriplani is the name of that woman, if I am sure. Abhishek, if you ask, we had any woman Chief Justice ever? I think if you can check for the name, I'm missing the name Kriplani or something. She was, I think, the previous. Do you have any idea what bombing of Jaffna? Praveen, bombing of Jaffna, no dear. I mean, we can discuss a lot. Yeah, Sucheta Kriplani. Thanks, man. Something about the Jaffna bombing? No, I am not into Jaffna bombing or any updates on that. I don't have it. Incidentally, the movie that was in which John Abraham acted was a good movie on the same issue. So Jaffna is there's a new government elected in Jaffna. What you can see is that it is for the first time that a Tamil has actually won any election out there. What you can do is that, yes, you can also Google out the name of the CM there of Jaffna. Okay, another elections in Cyprus, that is, and the new president out there is Nikos Anastasiadis. So Nikos Anastasiadis is the new president out there in Cyprus. Now you would ask me that why should we know the president of Cyprus? And the reply to that is any country which has been in news in the last year or in this year itself, questions related to its president, its capital, its currency, its parliament, famous geographical locations should be done. So I couldn't cover it out here, but there's something. If you're noting down Cyprus, so you should also try to figure out try to find out what is the capital, what is the parliament, what are the famous geographical locations out there, if any. So that you can cover up all the questions against that. Cyprus was there amidst a lot of financial turmoil. So therefore, Cyprus was in news. So Nikos Anastasiadis is the new president of Cyprus. Yes, Nilesh, Tamils won a majority there. Tunisia, Hamadi Jebali, he resigned from the PM of Tunisia. So Hamid Jebali, Tunisia, if you remember it correctly, then was at the forefront of the Jasmine Revolution, which is also famously known as Arab Spring. Yes, the Jasmine Revolution. It is known as Jasmine Revolution because Jasmine is the national flower of Tunisia. So the Jasmine Revolution started from Tunisia, and Hamid Jebali was the prime minister who was actually there at Tunisia. He resigned from his office. Yes, this was again an interesting event, another slugfest between India and Pakistan over the Kishanganga project. Yes, Indrajit, current affairs of world are definitely as in IFT. The Court of Arbitration at The Hague, and as I've earlier said, that this presentation is just not for IFT, it is trying to cover everything that might be asked in the examinations that are also beyond IFT. As such, no one can contain general awareness of current affairs, because I am sure I would have missed quite a lot of things, but I've tried my best to bring you the most important happenings in the world. So the Court of Arbitration, The Hague. So if you might also know that the International Court of Justice is there at The Hague, which is in Netherlands. So another question can be, where is the International Court of Justice located? It is situated in The Hague, which is in the Netherlands. And the case out here was about the Kishanganga project. So this was it was a hydroelectric project in the Gurez Valley near Bandipura in northern Kashmir. So, and the court rejected the plea of Pakistan that Pakistan basically alleged India that you are violating the 1960 Indus Water Treaty. wherein you are trying to construct a dam there, hydro for hydroelectric project, because it was on the river Jhelum, a part of which is known as Neelam in Pakistan. So they call it Neelam in their part, we call it Jhelum in our part. So Kishan Ganga, wherein the international court actually favored the Indian government stance and we gave a go ahead for the hydroelectric project in Gurez Valley. Yes, again, an interesting event that shaped up in the world for the Gwadar port, that was basically the first handled by Singapore, PSA International, was handed over to, leased out basically, not handed over, but leased out to Chinese overseas port holdings, which will be developing a port there. This is interesting from India's point of view because earlier China was present there on top of our heads when we talk about the region of Ladakh, wherein they are there. The Great Lake. I'm forgetting the name of the lake. If someone can, it is. I'm so sorry. That's the lake which is there in the movie 3, the last. So I have gone through the some more. I think it. Yeah, that's the Pagong Lake. Yeah, the Pagong Lake. No, it's not Pyongyang. Pyongyang is the capital of North Korea, Javed. That is Pagong Lake. Mansarovar, no, basically Mansarovar is there. Yeah, Pangong So, perfectly. That's Pangong So Lake. So Pangong So Lake, it is there up there and near Ladakh. So there already China is there. China is also there near Himachal Pradesh, near Nepal, near Bhutan, and China also built up a new. Iran has also handed over a port to India. Forgetting the name of the port. Same here. I'm also. I think it is Chabar port. I think so. If it is correct, Chabar port. Yeah. So we are talking about China constructing a cricket stadium. So Chinese have got nothing to do with cricket, but they still constructed a stadium, a cricket stadium there in Sri Lanka, and that is called Hambantota. How can Pakistan hand it over? Does it come under POK? Oh, yes, that comes perfectly under the sovereignty of Pakistan. So therefore, they have handed it over to them. It is just not about handing over to Pakistan, but earlier Sri Lanka was given. What is that country? Singapore was given the rights to develop that port. So China, basically, we're talking about that after this incident at Gwadar, China is present there at the head near Ladakh. It is there towards east, wherein they are totally there towards Arunachal Pradesh, near Bhutan, Nepal. They are already flexing their muscles in the Sri Lankan territory, and now they are also there in the west. Many a time, people call this international development politics call this as the garland of pearls, right? The garland of pearls, which China is offering to India. So this is also important because of another important geographical location, which is called Strait of Hormuz. Now, Strait of Hormuz is just 400 kilometers away from this particular Gwadar port. Strait of Hormuz is there in Iran, and through where 33%, if I remember the figures correctly, yes, around 33% of the world's crude oil supply happens through that part, which is there in Iran. Recently, Iran said that it would be militarily guarding that particular area and will not allow any export of oil from that part under the wake of the sanctions that US has brought against it. Rishabh, sir, India is present. Yeah, I told you once it's near Vietnam, but then again, yes, Ashish, UN organizations and their headquarters are important, just not for IFT. I'm saying time and again that it is just not for IFT, it is for all the examinations because current affair questions and world affair and general awareness, they don't have a color, they don't have a tone, right? Okay. So Pakistan is there encircling India. So we talked about a few areas. Gwadar, there, Sangpo Lake, Pangong Lake there in Ladakh. East, we have got it near Arunachal Pradesh, and towards south, Sri Lanka is also being influenced by them. No, India so far has not got any ports as such. Okay, rankings are also asked in pretty much weird fashion. So India ranked World Press Freedom Index. India ranked 140th, and great to know that there were around 179 countries in this particular ranking, and it is the lowest ranking that India has got since 2002. And the countries at the top were Netherlands, Norway, Finland, and these three countries topped the list in that same order. Netherlands, I'm saying Tejasvi, Netherlands were the first, Norway second, and Finland topped the list. I remember the list. Pakistan fared better than India in this list. The bottom rankers were three countries from Africa, which I'm forgetting. So I don't think so. They will go in that detail when they ask you the bottommost countries. Important to know was India's ranking. Uh, Please explain the cause given in the second para. India got a slowly ranked because of increasing impunity. Okay, impunity for violence against journalists and internet censorship, wherein we are defined just like China. China fared worse than India. Uh, this is because internet censorship is happening in India, wherein the government decides what and which sites do you visit, what is written, what is to be shared in a particular site. Uh, yes, Finland is first in press freedom. Finland, Netherlands, Finland topped in the list. Where was India in HDI? Yeah, that is something, Ashish, that you can find for HDI. I think I've covered something in HDI also as we move ahead. Okay, so we are talking about the second paragraph. Yeah, this low ranking, Pakistan ranking, it was in 130s. I'm so sorry. I mean, like I could not look. They will not ask you something about what was the position of Pakistan, right? If at all, they would ask you about India's rank or the top ranker. Yeah, what is that? Yes, I am also banned that. So there is internet censorship plus violence against journalists has been increasing, wherein there have been incidences where a particular journalist who was reporting something was either beaten up or was killed. So, okay, fine, Anurag. Important to know now, BRICS, the fifth BRICS summit was held in Durban, which is in South Africa. Was there from 26 to 28 Africa. Uh, Yes, Section 66A in IT Act relevant in this respect. It is. Yes, Ashish. We are talking about now the fifth BRICS summit held in Durban, South Africa, 26 to 28 March. The date is inconsequential. What you should know is that it was conducted in Durban, that was in South Africa. November, I don't think so in IFT because the paper would have been prepared by then, Sachin. So I'm at least taking a pot shot till September if the paper is in November. But then again, I'm saying that whatever we are discussing is just not from the point of view of being asked in the examinations, but also it is important from the point of view of your group discussions and personal interviews. Uh, the next breaks, it has not been decided yet because I could not find it, and for the simple reason that it has not been decided yet where it is. What is exactly the objective of BRICS? Where we know that BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, which joined later on. Basically, it's a regional bloc. They're trying to make a bloc. Uh, yes, the last big session was there in New Delhi, the fourth one. And after these five summits, it has come back. It has done one circle. So from Brazil to Russia to India to China to South Africa, it has done one round. Okay, so next summit in Brazil. That's what I was also trying to make out since BRICS. But the first big was there in Russia. That is Yekaterinburg. E-brick. Okay, I am not aware of that e-brick. Okay, 2014 BRICS is in for Lazia, Brazil. That's knowledge for me. Thank you so much, Ashita. So, and this is for everyone also that the 2014 BRICS is to be held at Fortaleza, Brazil. So fifth one at Durban finished. The first one was at Russia, Yekaterinburg, and the next one, that is 2014 BRICS, to be conducted at Fortaleza, Brazil. Someone asked that what is the usage or what is the importance of BRICS. So as I told that if you look at these countries, they are they are the developing lot, and they are at this point of time, or actually when the point of time at the point of time when they actually came into the forefront, they were all rapidly growing economies. Today, yes, they are facing a bit of slowdown because of the global impact. B is for Brazil, A for Russia, I for India, C for China and S for South Africa. Egypt gave a proposal to join BRICS, but I don't think so that they will get a go ahead in that, because if you look at these five countries, they've got a phenomenal GDP growth rate. So which Egypt is also lacking, also because of the political turmoil that Egypt is having. I don't think so that will see the day light. So this is the BRIC economic bloc. Nepal and United States conducted joint military exercise called Shanti Prayas 2. So the second time it was conducted, Shanti Prayas 2. India also joined this particular military exercise, because I don't think so that Nepal will serve any great purpose for US to conduct a military exercise. So India and other Southeast Asian countries were also invited. I don't know the list of other countries, but I know for sure that yes, India also joined the joint military exercises called Shanti Prayas 2 along with Nepal. Yes, we talked about the Cyprus issue, and I also talked about earlier that Cyprus was having a financial trouble out there brewing up in that country. So the Eurozone finance ministers and the International Monetary Fund signed a deal on 16th March 2013 in Brussels to aid Cyprus with a bailout of 10 billion euros. Yes, Indra is the exercise between India and Russia, but of late India and Russia have not had any military exercise or military exercise, so they plan to take it the next year. Indra, that IN for India and RA for Russia. So I was talking about the Cyprus issue. So Cyprus got a financial bailout from IMF and Eurozone, and Brussels. Yes, Brussels is also the headquarters of NATO, that is North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Yeah, the question that can be asked: Brussels is the headquarters of NATO. That is Tanuj. Is any fixed duration for military exercise? No, I have got no idea about duration, but from whatever I know, there is no fixed duration. There is nothing like that. They decide it amongst themselves what is the duration. The European crisis, to be explained, well, what you can note is also that there are 5 countries which were at the forefront of the European crisis, and they were Portugal, Italy, Ireland, Greece, and Spain, popularly known as the PIGS countries. I'll repeat again: Portugal. Yes, it's not. There's not double G. It's actually double I. In fact, Tejasvi. So Portugal, Italy, Cyprus is a country. Sakshi. So PIGS we discussed as Portugal, Italy, Ireland, Greece, and Spain. So these were the 5 countries which are at the forefront of the European crisis. All of them had a different issue to deal with, because of which they actually got into a crisis. It is a very lengthy topic that I discussed in the class, but the last country is what is S? Spain. Yeah, Spain. So S is for Spain. A very lengthy issue to be discussed. I don't know how to shorten it, but let's take an example of Greece. Eurozone. No, Eurozone is not an organization. It is a bloc. Like earlier, we have something like USSR was a bloc, right? So likewise, Eurozone is a bloc of European nations. Please be a little farther. Okay. Kanika, I hope you wish to say something else, but okay. USSR was a country. Yes, USSR was a country, Nimesh. Erstwhile USSR. Okay. So Eurozone is a block of countries coming together economically, and so these 5 countries that I discussed, PIGS, were at the forefront of the European crisis. So let's take, for example, Greece. Greece had a Kanika, I could get that. Greece was basically they had a fiscal deficit of around 160%. So 160. No, Brussels is not the capital of Cyprus, dear. When I mentioned the name of the president of Cyprus, I also said that please have a look at the capital. Yeah, Nicosia. Yeah, Belgium. Correct. Brussels, Belgium. So we are talking about the financial crisis in European Union, which was the European Union crisis. Yes, it is also the headquarters of Eurozone. Cyprus was bailed out finally. So I was talking about Greece. So Greece had a fiscal deficit of around 160% of its GDP. So you can imagine India dealing with around 4.5-5% of fiscal deficit is facing so much of trouble, and you're talking about 160% of deficit. So likewise, each and every country had a different issue to tackle with. Important to note is that the European crisis was discovered after the fallout that happened in Iceland, Iceland. You might think that Iceland has just got ice, but FYI, Iceland has got one of the costliest currencies in the world, and it was the housing collapse that happened in Iceland which triggered the European crisis there. Kenyan election, yeah. It's easy to remember Uhuru Kenyatta. His name has got the name. His name has got the country's name there. Kenya. That is Uhuru Kenyatta won the Kenyan presidency. Important to note is that he was also facing a lot of crime against humanity. So there was a lot of hue and cry when he actually won the elections. But still, he's the present president out there. Kenya was also news for some infamous reason where there was a shootout at the Westgate Mall there, where an Islamist group Al-Shabaab actually triggered a terrorist attack there. The capital of Kenya, I know that is Nairobi, so you can actually take that also. So Uhuru Kenyatta, the present president of Kenya. Sachin, Arab Spring started, I think it is now 2.5 years since the Arab Spring started. It is called Arab Spring because it acted like the spring. Spring it heralds a new season. When a new season begins, there is a lot of change expected in the season. So Arab Spring, it started in Tunisia after a vegetable seller by the name Muhammad, if I remember his name correctly, it was Al-Buzazi was his name. Right, he immolated himself. Setu Al-Shabaab is a faction of the Al-Qaeda there in Nigeria, right? Al-Shabaab, it's a faction of Al-Qaeda who triggered that terrorist attack. Iceland, Eurozone country. Iceland, yes. How to remember strange names? Which strange name are you talking about, Moini? If it is Uhuru Kenyatta, you just read it once. When you see in an option, pray to your God that yes, you get it correct. Or if it interests you, yes, then you can definitely remember the name. Okay, so we are talking about what we are talking about. Someone has an answer. Arab Spring, yeah, sorry, yeah, thanks. We were discussing about Arab Spring, and Arab Spring it started in Tunisia when Mr. Bouzazi he actually immolated himself, and he was a normal vegetable seller, and since then the people started actually they came onto the streets and they revolted against the government. They actually wanted a change in the regime. So all those autocratic Islamist regime, remember autocratic Islamist regime, which were actually following an iron fist policy towards its people. They saw an upspring in their people. So people started revolting against the country, and then it started spreading. It spread to Yemen. It went to Jordan, Syria. Whatever you are facing today in Syria is also an aftermath of the Arab Spring. Egypt was also affected. Egypt has also seen a lot of turmoil out there. That is also an effect of Arab Spring. And what else? There was another country. Yes, Muammar Gaddafi from Libya. Libya also saw the downfall of Gaddafi. Was also a result of the Arab Spring. Yes, Facebook. Not only Facebook, but also Twitter and the entire channel. So people could actually what is happening in one part of the world was immediately known to the other part of the world, and people started coming to the street. Tahrir Square was there, a famous place in Egypt, wherein the people got against the government of Egypt. Parts of China were also affected by this Arab Spring. It is towards the region which is close to Pakistan, which is called the Uyghur, Uyghur. Uyghur. I don't know, if that's the correct spelling. Indrajit, a revision of what I told till now, that would be too fastidious for me. I'll try, if I am able to finish this before time, I'll try to do a quick recap of everything. International part of economic survey, that is just not important for IFT, that is important for that is the knowledge that you should always have as long as group discussion, personal interviews are concerned, right? That adds a lot of gravity to your discussions. So that was Arab Spring. It is also known as Jasmine Revolution because, as I said earlier, since it started from Tunisia, and jasmine happened to be the national flower of Tunisia. Sagar, I think we have got another 40 minutes, 30, half an hour or so. Yeah, Pushpendra, we are moving ahead now. Yes, the world's largest private yacht named Azam was launched by German shipyard. So this is the world. So the question can be, which is the world's largest private yacht, and it is known as Azam. The name sounds quite Arabic, but it is not. It is built in German shipyard, and the previous one was owned by the famous Russian industrialist Roman Abramovich. So that's it. Whose name was Eclipse, and the present one is Azam. The size-wise, it is almost 2 football fields long. China announced sightseeing cruises to disputed parasail islands. Now, this is something that I also wanted to discuss. Recently, China had a host of issues, has had a host of issues with its neighboring countries related to territorial disputes, wherein they keep on saying that this particular territory is mine. So there's nothing new to China. They keep on meddling with our affairs in Arunachal Pradesh, giving stapled visas to the people who come from that part of the country. They have had recently issues with Japan over a set of islands, which is there in the South China Sea. And the Japs, they call it Senka. Yeah, that Senkaku Island. Yeah, that's Senkaku Island, which the Japanese call it. The same island is called as Diaoyu, Diyaou. God, curse the spelling. I don't know. Diaoyu, Diyaou. If my memory serves it correct. That's Diaoyu Island, which the Chinese call them, and Senkaku is called by Japan. So both of these countries actually try to outsmart each other by calling this particular island, which is, for your information, totally without any inhabitation. Right? So there is no one who stays there, but there is just a show of flex of their power. Diaoyu, Diyaou, Diaoyu. Chinese call it Diaoyu, the Japanese call it Senkaku. The fact remains, no one stays there. Okay, so barring these two, China also tried to flex its muscle in the South China Sea over a group of island called Parasail Island. It is not Parcel, it is known as Parasail Island, the world throughout. These islands are in the Xisha province. Yeah, Sutosh, I'll be explaining statement visas. Give me a moment. Everywhere else in the world, they are called as Parasail Islands, and it's a dispute between China, Taiwan, and Vietnam, right? So there are so many countries in fight with China, Philippines, Malaysia, Brunei, Vietnam. Sagar, yes, I'll try. Once I finish this, I'll keep a 10-15 minutes an open house, because I'll try to answer whatever I know. And if you ask and I know, then I'll definitely answer. So cruises to Parasail Islands. These islands are called Xisha in China. And to the external world, it is known as Parasail Island. So barring apart from Senkaku and Diaoyu, there is another island called Parasail Island, which China prefers calling as Xisha. Italy also saw a change in its government, and Enrico Letta is the new prime minister, and it is in collaboration with the former prime minister Silvio Berlusconi. And now you might be aware of the famous feats that Silvio Berlusconi has achieved, right? And this is in collaboration with the government, which is in collaboration with it. So Enrico Letta is at this point of time leading the government as a prime minister. Earlier it was Silvio Berlusconi, and Giorgio Napolitano is the president of Italy at this point of time. Yes, quite contrary. On the contrary, the world's biggest biogas plant, the president was Giorgio Napolitano. Giorgio Napolitano. The largest biogas plant of the world is now inaugurated in Finland. It is not in India for a change. It is there in Finland, and it was inaugurated on the western coast of Finland. Falkland Island, another twist on or a tiff regarding as far as sovereignty is concerned. Falkland Islands were voted unanimously to stay under the British rule. Falkland Islands, since early 19th century, they have had fights. Argentina had an issue over the Falkland Islands, where they claimed that these islands belong actually to them, and even Britain had fought a war with Argentina in 1982. Needless to explain who was the winner. It was actually, of course, Britain. And since then, uh, uh, Argentina had been cribbing that this is one place which belongs to us, and UK should give back to it. So there was a referendum done wherein 99.8 people of the island said that we wish to go to the Britishers rather than going to the Argentinians. Yeah, Britain is nowhere even remotely close to where the Falkland Islands are located. How can Britain stake claim to them? Well, for that matter, as goes the saying in the parlance, in the international parlance, that whosoever is powerful in the might is always right. So they didn't have any business here in India, the Britishers, but they still ruled us. Right? So like that. So yeah, so the Falkland Island from Argentina now under the British rule after the referendum. Yeah, another change. Venezuela's president election declared Nicolas Maduro. So Nicolas Maduro is the present president of Venezuela. Right. So Nicolas Maduro, Venezuela. Something from the point of perspective of IFT, India and Malta have signed a new DTAA, that is double tax. Nicolas Maduro, Maduro, Maduro. Sagar, it is Nicolas Maduro. India and Malta have signed a new DTAA, double tax avoidance agreement at Valletta, Malta. There's someone who asked a question. Yes, Nilesh, that's pretty interesting. Miss World 2013 comes from Venezuela. Yes, you're right. Someone asked a question which I forgot. Stapled visa, yeah. There's a question by Asutosh on stapled visa. Stapled visa is basically, Gabriel Eiler is her name. I'm so sorry, I don't follow either Mr. World or Mrs. World kind of thing, or Miss World kind of thing. But yeah, it's okay. I know that she's from Venezuela. Venezuela has having its own share of problems, but yeah, it has been churning out Valletta. Achha. Okay. The next Commonwealth. Malta, where? Malta, fantastic. Malta is in the Malta, Caribbeans. No, I'm so sorry. I am not aware of the geographical. She's Miss Universe, not the Miss World. Fine with it. As I said, I don't follow Miss World or Miss Universe, so please excuse me from that. Yes, DTA. I'll be discussing the DTA issues too. Double tax avoidance agreement, simply put forward, it is an agreement between two countries wherein they decide that, let's take an example. We have got Hindustan Lever operating in India. Till what month GK can we covered for SNAP and this examination? Typically, 2 months before that exam, whatever has happened, we should have a tab on that. But when you go for GD, when you go for PI, anything that has happened since even 24 hours back can be a part of the group discussion. Yeah, DTA stands for Double Tax Avoidance Agreement. So that is what I was trying to explain. That's what I was trying to explain is that, let's say that take an example, Hindustan Unilever is operating in India. Hindustan Unilever is operating in India. It is a subsidiary of Unilever, which is an Anglo-Dutch company which operates in the British country. Now, since it's a subsidiary in India, it is making profits. Since it is making profits, it is giving tax to India. But the income that this particular operation in India is generating is also increasing the income of the mother company there in Britain. So likewise, for this increment that the company has seen in its revenues, it has also to give tax back there in Britain. So is it fair that for the same income generated, a company pays tax twice, one in the parent country, other in the country where it is operating as a subsidiary? So therefore, to avoid this, the countries have come together and they have signed a DTA. It is totally dependent upon a country whether to have a DTA with a country or not. So it means that, so when a country is a signatory of DTA with the other country, they basically say that if you have paid a tax in one particular country, right, you have got an invoice for the payment, then you can actually say that you can be exempted from paying tax in the other country. So you don't pay taxes twice. So that is what is the particular genesis of the problem, DTA. And what countries have started doing is that they go and register themselves in countries where the tax rate is very low. So let's say that they go to Mauritius where the corporate tax is very low. So what they will do is that they will go and pay the taxes there in Mauritius, and claim that since we have paid already the tax in Mauritius, which is, let's take an arbitrary value. I'm not aware, but what I'm aware is that the tax rates are very, very low, close to at times there are no taxes also, 1%, 2%. So let's say that I pay a tax of 2% there in Mauritius, and the corporate tax here in India is around 30%. So I can straight away save my tax from here in India by paying taxes in India, saying that I have paid the tax for that country. Malta is actually in Europe, the European Union, and I don't know much about, mm, rather than about Malta. Malta is in Europe, that's all I know. We'll decide between perimetry and the one where the company has a yes, Gaurav, we'll try having which countries India has DTA with. I cannot have a list of all the countries, but yes, I know for sure that US has got a DTA with India. UK has also got a DTA with India. Yes, they're on a list of 88 countries. Thanks so much, Sachira. I couldn't have mentioned all those 83. Yes, Mauritius is the country from where the highest FDI in India flows, and the reason is simple, because any country that has to function here in India will try going to Mauritius, registers itself there as a country, and then operates its business. Cayman Islands is also one of them. Tax is not divided then, dear. Yes, tax is not divided between the countries. Tax, wherever it has been paid, it is paid. Yes, it is a very small country, therefore it needs much more investment. So therefore, even if it charges 2%, it has got a whole lot of companies coming and registering themselves there. Makes sense for them. Uh, New DTA means it means that they keep on revising it. So there are certain elements which are added. There are certain elements which are reduced. Staple visa, yes. I hope DTA is clear to all of us. 88 countries have got a DTA with India. Staple visa issue is, let's say that visa. First of all, you would be glad to know that visa has got a full form, and it stands for visitors intent to stay abroad. So let's say that I am traveling from US to Canada. I should have a tourist visa. So I'm a tourist, and my intent is to stay abroad. So therefore, I need a visa to enter that country. What China does is that whenever someone comes from Pak-occupied Kashmir or from Arunachal Pradesh, they treat it as a part of their own country. Arunachal Pradesh, they treat it as their own part of country. So what they'll do is that they'll say that since a person is coming from Arunachal Pradesh, which Chinese claim to be their own territory, they'll not ask for visas. However, since there is a change in the geography, so they just put up a staple visa saying that okay, you are allowed to visit this particular country, and there is nothing like a proper visa scheme there. So that's called a staple visa. So it's like a diplomatic slap on our face, wherein a country is not giving visas, but it is giving staple visas to your nationals. Yes, we all know this, but then again, what I wanted to highlight was that Nawaz Sharif comes from the party PML, Pakistan Muslim League, the national the national Pakistan Muslim League. Nawaz, he heading the count with 126, followed by Pakistan People Party with 31 seats. So his party's name is PMLN. PMLN. Yes, another prime minister sworn in Malaysia. Malaysia was also in news, right? So Najib Razak is the new prime minister of Malaysia, right? PML, Pakistan Muslim League. Okay, Najib Razak is now the PM of Malaysia, and the King Abdul Halim Muatam. So, India and China pullback. Yeah, this is a sector which I was talking about, dollar big oldie sector, DBO, which saw a standoff between the Indian and the Chinese army, and the Globemaster aircraft which we discussed earlier. This is the place where it landed there, dollar big oldie sector in Ladakh. So the C3 Globemaster, it actually landed there at Dollar Big oldie sector. So it can be asked that what was that part for? Pakistan Muslim League, dear Sagar. Yes, the world's biggest hydroelectric Inga Dam on Congo River. So it's kind of a strange happening because people say that the next round of development, once China and India have actually spent their steam out, will come from yes. Kunjika Yadav, thank you. Malta is a small country near Italy. I was correct when I said European Union, right? And its capital is Valletta. Yes, so we're talking about the next round of development coming. It is said that when India and China have actually spent their steam out, the next round of development will come from African countries. And if this news is something to go by, then the world's largest or the biggest hydroelectric dam would come in Congo. That is Inga Dam, right? So the Democratic Republic of Congo, or popularly known as DRC, that the world's biggest hydroelectric Inga Dam will start being constructed from October 2015. Interesting to note that at this point of time, the world's biggest dam is actually the Three Gorges Dam in China, built on the Yangtze River. The capacity that they churn out is around 20, not around, but capacity of 22,500 megawatts. But when the Inga Dam is actually built to its full potential and it is operated, it would be churning out 40,000 megawatts. And it is also said that it can actually ramp up its facility to around we talked about 1 lakh megawatts. It can also be extended till 1 lakh megawatts. Which one did you? Is the work did by our country in the contract? So is the work did by our country? Praveen, yes, the work, it is, whenever a DTA is signed, it is signed between two parties. So both of them discuss the intricacies of the deal. So Inga Dam on Congo River in the Democratic Republic of Congo, which is going to be the world's biggest one when commissioned. At this point of time, the biggest one is the Three Gorges Dam on the Yangtze River of China. Yes, again, an interesting move that happened. The European Union has now become 28 member. Earlier, before this incident, it was a 27-member union, and Croatia is the latest country to join the European Union. Croatia. The capital I have taken out, it is Zagreb, and Croatia had a history. It was a part of it was a part of the Yugoslavia, the former Yugoslavia Republic. So Yugoslavia also broke, and Croatia was liberated, and now Croatia has actually joined European Union. So it was 27. From 27, the European Union has fallen to 28. Remember that not all countries actually use euro as. Remember, there's all these countries don't have euro as their currency, and out of 28 countries, 18 countries, 18 countries use the euro as their particular currency. India, a member of EU. Sagar, India is a democracy which is totally sovereign. India is a sovereign nation. European Union is a congregation of countries there in the Europe. Yes. Yeah, Britain does not accept euro as the currency there. So Croatia, newest entry, capital Zagreb, and after Slovenia, Croatia is the second former Yugoslav republic to join European Union. Another change in prime ministership, Kevin Rudd sworn in as new Australian prime minister, but I think this has again changed, and the present Australian prime minister is Tony Abbott. Yeah, correct. That's Tony Abbott. So Kevin Rudd replaced Julia Gillard, and Kevin Rudd was again replaced by Tony Abbott in the recent elections. Thank you all, Sachira and other people who said that. Yeah, that's Tony Abbott. G8 summit, yes, summits, where are they held? These are also the kind of questions expected. So G8 summit recently was concluded at Latorre in Northern Ireland, and this was the 39th meet at a place called Latorre. Latorre is in Northern Ireland, and as such, the G8 nations, you can have a look at them: Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, not Spain, Germany, Italy, Japan, Russia, US, and UK. So Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, Russia, US, and the UK. Motive of setting G8, it is a powerful group of all. If you look at the countries, all of them are big, mighty, powerful countries. After the World War II era was over, and all the countries started developing, and it came to the fore that around the 1960s or 70s, when all these powerful countries come together and then they decide and discuss. China is excluded because when it was said, China was a pygmy compared to other countries. So these countries come together and they discuss whatever is happening around the world, and they collectively take decisions if they have to be. Yes, G8 is only for developed countries. Uh, okay, so I know I have bombarded you with a lot of prime ministers with the same, but the thing is that Egypt has been on turmoil, and a lot of turmoil has happened in Egypt also. And Egypt, Syria, Jordan, these are basically the hotbeds of the world today. Uh, no, G8 does not mean Greater 8. They don't go by the nomenclature of Greater Noida or whatever greater that we have here. G8 means Group of 8, right? Uh, okay, so Egypt, yes. Hazem El Beblawi. So, however interesting the name sounds, please have a note of it. It is Hazem El Beblawi, who is the new Prime Minister of Egypt. A lot has happened in Egypt, wherein after the Arab Spring, we discussed Arab Spring. Yeah, the capital is Cairo, which is correct. A lot has happened in Egypt after the Arab Spring, wherein the first ruling Prime Minister there, who was Hosni Mubarak, he was overthrown. After Hosni Mubarak was overthrown, Muslim Brotherhood came, and Mohammed Morsi. Mohammed Morsi was actually named the Army Chief of Egypt. I don't know the full name of Army Chief of Egypt, but yeah, his surname is Sisi. Though he sounds Sisi, but whatever he did was not at all Sisi. So his name will have a Sisi in it. It has got 3 or 4 names, so I'm sorry, I don't remember the full name, but yeah, the surname is Sisi. So Sisi actually he orchestrated the entire chain of events there at Egypt. So first was Hosni Mubarak to go after the Arab Spring. Then Mohammed Morsi took over as a part of Muslim Brotherhood, and again people went against it, and then an interim government was formed. Hazem El Beblawi is the present prime minister, and the interim president is Adli Mansour. Morsi was in news because he was he was the leader of Muslim Brotherhood, and the Muslim Brotherhood was known to bring extreme Sharia Islamist laws, the Sharia laws. They wanted to bring the hardline Orthodox Islamist rule there, whereas the public was not interested in that. The people needed reforms there. Yes, the full name is Abdel Fattah El Sisi, and now you know why I didn't recall the entire name. So at least I knew Sisi. So uh, IAEA stands for International Atomic Energy Agency. International Atomic Energy Agency. So it is a watchdog which deals with the nuclear developments being done in other countries. So International Atomic Energy Agency. Yeah, IAEA. So El Beradi, and you can see that El Beblawi, the new PM, interim president Adli Mansour, and Muhammad El Badi was the new vice president of country of India. So yeah, again a question. Runa Laila. Now she's a SARC Goodwill Ambassador for HIV/AIDS who visited India, and Runa Laila is from Bangladesh, and she has been given this honorary title as Goodwill Ambassador for spreading the awareness for HIV/AIDS. Ajay Devgan from India has also been conferred the same title, and so is the title given to Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy from Pakistan. I don't know who he is, but the name is Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy. From India, Ajay Devgan have also been conferred the Goodwill Ambassador deal. SARC Goodwill Ambassador for HIV/AIDS, Runa Laila from Bangladesh. Yes, to the chagrin of China, much to the chagrin of China, Japan unveiled its biggest warship called Izumo. So, since World War II, this is the biggest battleship or warship that they have. It's called Izumo. Also to note here is that China has also got its own aircraft carrier, which is its first aircraft carrier, and it is known as Liaoning. The spelling is Liaoning. 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 So Liaoning is the new aircraft carrier that the Chinese have had. India, the second one we have had, that is recently inducted Admiral Gorshkov, known as INS Vikramaditya. Yes, this was again an issue which happened in China, wherein milk powder produced in New Zealand, and the company in question was Fonterra. Fonterra is a global Fonterra is a global milk, not milk, but dairy company. IA headquarters, IA headquarters is it's a place which also is famous for certain other things. WHO. We have got the headquarters of World Health Organization there, Vienna, correct? Yeah. So WHO headquarters is also there in Vienna, and so is IAEA. Yeah, IAEA, the same. IAEA has got its headquarters in Vienna. Yeah, correct. WHO is in Vienna. Vienna is situated by the river Vienne. Yes, I'm so sorry. Yeah, Geneva is WHO, correct. WHO is Geneva. World Intellectual Property Organization is Geneva. So these are located in Geneva. Vienna is for IAEA. And Vienna is situated. At times they also ask you question that which particular river is situated. Which particular city is situated by which river. So Vienna is situated on the banks of River Vienne. So new milk powder from Fonterra, which is a company from New Zealand, was banned in China. The question that can come is that which is that company rather, which was banned in China for selling contaminated milk powder. It got contaminated with this poison called botulinum. Clostridium botulinum is the bacteria which produces this toxin. And it would be interesting for you to know that botulism is the same toxin which is used in Botox. So Botox is if you know, the ladies would be aware of that Botox is an injection which is given on the face for the basically the aging actors. They look younger. So it makes you feel younger, look younger, basically not feel but look younger. Botox. Yeah, not fat removal. Yeah, Arpita. Yeah, okay, fine. My apologies if that was sexist, but that's not what I meant, because guys, they are normally unawares on this issue. So Botox is a jab which is given it's used as a face filler, so which also derived from this particular toxin which actually kills people. China and Pakistan have also held a joint air exercise called Shaheen, which is called actually Eagle. Shaheen, which is Eagle 2, not much I know about it, but it was just a joint air exercise between China and Pakistan held in the. It is not already held, but it is in talks. They will be holding it in the northern Kashmir region. It was the northern part of Pakistan occupied Kashmir. That's what Tony Abbott. I actually corrected it for the later slides. So that's Tony Abbott, who is the 20th PM of Australia, usurping from the power from Kevin Rudd. This is again a big news. It was also touted as the project of the millennia. It was also touted as the construction of the millennia, which is the world's first underwater rail link between two continents. So there is one place which is known as the gateway to Europe, which is Turkey. Part of it lies in Europe, and the other part you can actually be in Asia. So it was opened, and it is there, which is under the Bosphorus Strait. So Bosphorus, there's a particular area, Bosphorus Strait, wherein this particular tunnel connects these two continents, and it is known as the Marmara Tunnel. And Marmara is also a geographical place there near that particular Bosphorus Strait. So it is named after that Marmara Tunnel, the world's first subway to connect two continents. It cost around $2.8 billion, and it was financed by JICA. Capital of Istanbul is Accra. No, Accra. No. Capital of Istanbul is Ankara. Yes, Ankara, not Accra. Accra is the capital of Ghana. Yes. Many people confuse that Istanbul is the capital of Istanbul is the capital. Thank you. Yeah, capital of Turkey is Ankara. Yes, that's what I was saying. That many people feel that Istanbul is the capital of Turkey, but it is not. It's Ankara. Who is the new PM in Australia? Abbott. The new PM of Australia is Tony Abbott. It's not Abbott. He has not been aborted yet. He's Tony Abbott. So yeah, so Turkey first underwater rail link between two continents, known as, it's also at times known as Bosphorus Tunnel, built on the Bosphorus Strait, but the real name is Marmara Tunnel. We are not talking about cities, we are talking about continents, dear. Cities, exactly, it's there in the same continent. It's there in the same country. United Nations Security Council, yes, again, Eurostar rail already from England to Paris. Yes, that is, but it is an underwater tunnel, dear. Istanbul is not the capital of Turkey, Kanika. The capital is Accra, not Ankara. 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 Ankara is the capital of is Turkey. Yeah, Turkey, and Accra is the capital of that. Yes. So the new thing that the United Nations Security Council has elected 5 new non-permanent members. Saudi is rejected the offer, isn't it? I don't know. But hasn't Saudi Arabia rejected the seat? Yeah, Saudi Arabia has rejected the seat, which came as a surprise to the people that they have rejected the particular seat at United Nations Security Council, and they are not, though it has not officially come from them. It is yet to come officially from them, but they have said that they don't want the particular seat. So Chad, Chile, Lithuania, Nigeria, and Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, as said, unofficially they have rejected the seat at United States Security Council. Let's see who gets it. I'm not that at United Nations, so I cannot comment on that. But so far, the official communication is yet to come. The next thing that we have for you is on. No, I think there are more. Yeah, I think. What have you done? Oh, yes, that brings us to the close of the notable books of 2013. Fine. Yeah, yes. I'm getting a lot of topics. Yes, fine. Wait. Let's actually do a quick recap for people who have missed it. I'll just answer a few questions that they have. 5 minutes, 9:30 but now. Okay. So yes, this is the 14th Finance Commission. RBI Governor YV Reddy to head it. Company taglines, Sagar, there are a lot. Yes, and that's what I'm giving out. Let me cover one thing one by one. So this is it, the 14th Finance Commission headed by RBI Governor YV Reddy. The 13th was headed by Vijay Kelkar. Okay. CST compensation 34,000 crores. Yes, mergers and acquisitions to Nilesh. Let me just have a quick cover of this, and then we'll get into mergers and acquisitions. I remember that. CST 34,000 crore rupees paid as the deferment in the payment, reduction in the payment by the central government. 64th Republic Day. Chief guest was King of Bhutan, Jigme Khesar Namgyel Wangchuk. Sorry for that name though. Justice J.S. Verma panel is the panel which is to submit its recommendation on sexual crimes in the wake of the incident rapes in India. So that's J.S. Verma panel. I don't think so, Suresh. There are many more countries. As I know, that Turkey is the one. Supreme Court has banned tourist entry in the Jarawa tribe habitat. So Jarawa tribes are the ancient tribes which reside in Andaman. 3 new high courts: Tripura, Manipur, Meghalaya, and now the number of high courts has risen from 21 to 24 in India. So Tripura, Manipur, Meghalaya. Union Cabinet passes the National Food Security Bill. 5 kilogram of food grams per person per month. The rates: 3 rupees a kilo rice, 2 rupees a kilo wheat, and coarse cereals, that is jowar, bajra, to be sold at 1 rupees a kilo. The initial outlay was 90,000 crore rupees, but it has been revised to the current estimates around 140,000 crore rupees. The first all-women post office inaugurated by Kapil Sibal. and this is known as Project Arrow Office. Project Arrow Office. It is the India's first all-women post office. Electronics, EPPS, that is Electronic Project Proposal System, to streamline the processes in R&D process, has been launched by Kapil Sibal. Plastic voter ID card, first to be issued in Assam and Nagaland by the Election Commission. People will be, however, free to choose whether they want a paper-based card or a plastic card. Supreme Court India rejected Novartis patent plea for cancer drug called Glivec. So the questions: the drug company Novartis, the drug name Glivec. So it has lost the patent right here in India. Swiss company Novartis, and it would be now available in India at $175. Basically, I talked in the next slide. I talked about evergreening, which is a process, which is just for your information. It's nothing important from the current affair point of issue. The names of the two Marines, Massimilano, Latorre, and Salvatore, Girone, who were held responsible for killing of two fishermen. Not held, but they were arrested for the killing of two Indian fishermen. So the names are important. They might ask. Rotavirus vaccine, India's first, which is called Rotavac. From 1,000 rupees per dose, it has come down to 54 rupees per dose. It is a product which was made under PPP, that is public-private partnership between DBT, that is the Department of Biotechnology, and Praveen. The matter is still sub judice. The issue of two Marines, it is still not decided yet. Thanks to the speedy justice that we met in our country, they are still under trials. The Rotavac was started by DBT, the Department of Biotechnology, and Bharat Biotech. Year 2013 has been declared as a water conservation year by the Government of India. Ajivika, which is a part of the National Rural Livelihoods Mission, has been launched. So the name is important, and under which scheme it comes, that is important. Again, Swarna Jayanti Shahri Rozgar Yojana is now replaced by NULM, National Urban Livelihoods Mission. It would be basically working for skill training for the urban poor. Remember, there is something also called as National Rural Livelihoods Mission. Union Finance Minister, yes, KCC, Kisan Credit Cards issued by Dena Bank will also now have insurance cover for them. Green Corridor Renewable Energy launched in India, and that is so that the energy produced by renewable sources will be amalgamated with the NULM is about National Urban Livelihoods Mission, which will be basically taking care of urban poverty and urban skill development. Green Energy Corridor, it is not set, it is still under plans. I think Rajasthan will play an important part there, because Rajasthan is now going to get the world's biggest solar power plant. So basically, they will be amalgamating various sources of electricity, and as such, the grids should be smarter. Germany will be assisting here in India. Union Cabinet raised OBC Clean India criteria to 6 lakh rupees or 4.5 lakh rupees. Drug pioglitazone and painkiller analgin has been banned by the Government of India. Other drugs that were also banned are nimesulide, rochlitazone, and galofloxacin. So they might ask you a question that which one has been banned of the drug that has been banned. So nimesulide, rochlitazone, galofloxacin, pioglitazone, and analgin. Thank you, Kunjika. Good night. BSNL decides, the Telegraph saw its last, it greeted its last on 14th of July 2013. NULM is National Urban Livelihood Mission. Union Government, 12 June, it decided to discontinue telegraph services. As correctly said by someone, Rahul Gandhi. Rahul Gandhi was the last to send it. It was brought in India in 1850 by, it is just for your information, I don't think so it was going to be asked anyway. So William O'Shaughnessy brought telegraph to India. 14 July was the last of telegraph. From 15 July, it was no more in use. Notable books of 2013. Well, you can go through a list of Nilesh. Notable books of 2013. You can go through the books that were chosen, not awarded only, but chosen for the Man Booker Prize, and you can have a look at them. Awards and prizes, when they ask, then Nobel is something that you should have on the tips. Plus, after Nobel, you can have a look at the gallantry awards that are given in India. You can also have a look at the Man Booker Prize. You can have a look at the Sahitya Kala Academy Awards. You can have a look at the Dronacharya Awards, right? So awards which are given in India and abroad. Okay. Okay, Nilesh, mergers and acquisitions. Okay, plenty, not plenty, but yeah, big ones I can talk about. Recently, we saw the closure of the deal between Jet and Etihad. So Jet and Etihad, it is a $900 million deal which is done. Okay, Jivika Yojana is started by the government of India for the upliftment of poverty in India. That is Ajivika. Okay, so mergers and acquisitions we are basically talking about. So we talk about the recent Jet Etihad deal, which just got closed yesterday. 900 million deal between Jet and Etihad. Another merger and acquisition which is under process is Tata and Singapore Airlines (SIA). There is one more which is between Air Asia and Tata's, right? It is Etihad and Jet. Okay, and we are talking about what we are talking about. Jet Etihad deal done. We talked about SIA and Tata. Yes, Rishabh, I'm coming to that. Let me have a quick capture. I know you people are also informed. Yes. Okay. Right. We also had a merger between Tata Steel and Tata Metallics, right? Tata Metallics Limited. So which was also an internal deal done between Tata. So we're talking about the big international deals. So we talked about SIA and Tata Singapore Airlines and Tata's, and there is also an airline between Air Asia and Tata deal, right? Third partner of Air Asia and Tata deal, it is a private equity player. I'm forgetting the name of Kanika, so I'm sorry for that. If you could search for that. Tata Steel and Tata Metallics was the deal I talked about, Harshit. Okay. Another deal that also saw was the acquisition of Cooper Tires by Apollo from India. By this acquisition, though it has not seen the light of the day, because the Chinese have actually revolted against it. It seems that the Chinese have got a problem with anything that's happening with them. They actually revolted against the merger between Cooper Tires and what is that? Cooper Tire and Cooper Tire and Apollo. Yes, Apollo. And recently they also went against the merger between Vodafone and sorry, not Vodafone, Microsoft and Nokia. So which also brings to yes, Hero bought 49% stake in Eric Buell. Good. That's a super bike company. Okay, so we were talking about other. Okay, yeah. Nokia's head is Stephen Elop. Stephen Elop was head of Nokia when it was actually sold out to Microsoft. Let's see what do they do with it. Plus, we have got another deal which happened between Verizon and Vodafone. So Vodafone sold its 45% stake in Verizon. Verizon is a US-based telecom company, whereas Vodafone is a UK-based company. And this deal was worth $130 billion, Vodafone and Verizon deal, and it's one of the biggest deals that the world has seen. So this deal, then yes, there was a takeover, whereas Cadbury India is now known as Mondelez. It was bought over from Kraft Foods by Mondelez, so it is no more Cadbury's as a company. It is now known as Mondelez International. It's a part of Mondelez Group. Mondelez. Nokia sold to Microsoft. It is still in progress, dear, because the Finnish government has not given a go ahead to Nokia for a deal. In case this deal falls out between Nokia and Microsoft, Nokia will have to pay $51 million to Microsoft. Okay, another big deal that has happened. I don't think so. Since this was a year when not much money was available to people for such adventures, so the world has not seen many mergers and acquisitions. Yes, not many. So we also talked about Roshni, which is a which is a youth training program in Naxal affected areas. A similar project is being done by the name of Himayat project in Jammu and Kashmir. Uh, Government has approved the creation of strike corps against China border. So around 50,000 additional troops will be there and 65,000 crore rupees will be spent. Someone acquired BlackBerry, Nilesh, for the entire people out here. It has not been acquired. The talk was that Fairfax Capital, owned by an NRI, Prem Vatsa, was about to purchase that, but he has dropped the plan. So Fairfax is not no more interested in buying BlackBerry. Instead, it is going to be converted to a privately held company. Uh, Thanks to that, Dell as a computer company is also going to be privatized, wherein Michael Dell is going to make it a privately held company. Yes, Ayush, thank you so much. I had forgotten that Sun Pharma has acquired Taro Pharmaceuticals. Taro, if my memory serves me correct, is a pharmaceutical company from Israel. So Taro from Israel has been bought by Sun Pharma, and it is a biggie. It's a very big drug company. Thank you so much, Gaurav. Sun Pharma and Taro Pharmaceuticals, Taro, Taro Pharmaceuticals. And as I said, if my memory serves me correct, it's a company from Israel. Uh, okay. Recap. So, women officers to be inducted first. Yes, Bharadwaj. Yes. That's very important. Jeffrey Bezos, right? Jeffrey Bezos, who from Amazon, who's the owner of Amazon, who he bought Washington Post, which was a big deal. Yes, I forgot that. Jeffrey Bezos. And that's the name. Jeffrey Bezos bought Washington Post. Recently, Forbes magazine is also up for sale, though it has not been bought by anyone. Forbes, the legendary Forbes magazine. Tumblr, yes, Suraj. Tumblr was bought by Yahoo. Yes, since you're asking, so I'm also getting because a lot has happened. As I told you, no one can contain general awareness, but since you are talking about it, yes, Tumblr was bought by Yahoo for $1.1 billion. Thank you so much, Gaurav. You're welcome. Women officer inducted in BSF for the first time, and for people who are leaving, all the very best for their IFT and future examinations. All the best. MGPSY, Mahatma Gandhi Pravasi Suraksha Yojana, started by the government of India for blue collar Indian workers in the Gulf. National skill certification called STAR. STAR is being launched by the government of India for skill upgradation. That stands for Standard Training Assessment and Reward. So basically, they will skill the people and then make them employable. Blue collar jobs are basically shop floor jobs which don't require managerial skills. They require physical labor. Microsoft purchased WhatsApp. I'm not aware of that. Okay, fine. Yeah. So Microsoft purchased WhatsApp again. I'm so sorry, I'm not on social media, so I don't follow news there. So yeah, WhatsApp is bought by Microsoft. Sure. Okay. India's first cyber forensic laboratory, that is CFL, was inaugurated at Tripura High Court. So this will basically, the three new high courts, Srishti, we have discussed that in the previous slide. Thank you so much. Tripura High Court has got India's first cyber forensic laboratory, which will be basically centralizing the process of legalities in India. Companies Bill 2012 passed in Rajya Sabha thanks to Sachin Pilot. He actually fought for it, and it has now replaced the 57-year-old Companies Act 1956. An important part to be discussed out here is that companies now have to mandatorily spend 2% of their average profits in the last 3 years. Yes, Tanuj Chiao. Google also purchased Motorola, but that is long back. Yeah, but it happened this year. Google purchased Motorola. Government decided to set up new marine training academy at Tuticorin, which happens to be in Cochin. C-17 Glowmaster 3. India has bought them. Glowmaster 3. It is manufactured by Boeing in India. They have not been rechristened yet. C-17, or if they would have, yes, I'm aware. IL-76 is called Gajraj. C-17, I don't think so. They have been named yet. So WhatsApp and Microsoft have no merger deal. WhatsApp is independent. Therefore, I am not sure about whether WhatsApp has been bought because I don't follow news on social media. Okay, fine. You could search for it because I'm not aware of it. Sorry for my insolvency of my mind on that part. So C-17 Glowmaster 3. bought by India, manufactured by Boeing in US. Tax Reform, Admission Reform Commission, headed by Parthasarathy Shome. LinkedIn purchase slide share. Now these are small purchases, but yeah, LinkedIn. Yes, okay, yes, LinkedIn purchase slide share. Okay. Lok Sabha passed Rajiv Gandhi National Aviation University bill, so there will be a National Aviation University now in India, which would be there at Sonia Gandhi's constituency at Rai Bareli. Yes, which is actually Microsoft has actually bought WhatsApp for $8.5 billion. So that's a big amount paid. WhatsApp is no more independent. BRLF has been set. Bharat Rural Livelihood Foundation, an independent charitable society, has been set to uplift the lives of tribal people. National Institute of Solar Energy coming up in Gurgaon, which would replace Solar Energy Center in Gurgaon. So it would be an institute of its kind. National Institute of Solar Energy, Gurgaon. The world's largest solar power project coming up in Rajasthan. And it would come near the Sambar Lake, and it would be, when functional, it would be generating 4,000 megawatt. Okay, Praveen adds that Pilatus aircraft is added to IF Academy as trainer aircraft. Okay, so trainer aircraft, Pilatus. Okay, thank you. 158 Eklavya Model Residential School for tribal students. This is only for the tribal students, wherein Eklavya model schools are coming up. Name of a few drugs: BMS, that is Bristol Myers Squibb's cancer drug dasatinib, has now got a compulsory licensing, wherein a generic version of that can be manufactured in India. Earlier, Natco Pharma was given the right to produce Bayer's Nexavar. So this was a big news, because Nexavar was a very pricey drug, and Bayer lost the rights in India, and Natco will manufacture it. Earlier, Roche's Herceptin, Bristol's dasatinib, and Exampora were the drugs which were also given a go-ahead to be manufactured in their generic versions. Sagar, yes, I'm sure that yes, Facebook has purchased Instagram, but then again, I don't follow news on social media, so I'm not an avid follower of social media. But yes, that's a news. Facebook has purchased Instagram. I didn't say that deliberately because you people are the Facebook generation, so you might be aware of that. Pulkit says Microsoft hasn't bought WhatsApp. Okay, Pulkit, my search shows that it was bought by a whopping $8.5 billion. But okay, fine. Okay. India Post has launched international money transfer service, which is called Instant Cash, and it is started in collaboration with the Wall Street Exchange in New Delhi. Supreme Court, yeah, this is important. VVPAT, that is Voter Verifier Paper Audit Trail, which will give a printout into the hands of the voter, displaying the election symbol, the serial number of the chosen candidate, but remember that this cannot be taken back home. So that's VVPAT. First mega food park, known by the strange name called Shaktiman. So yeah, Manipur. VVPAT was first there in Manipur. Yes, Parag, you are correct there. So the Shaktiman Mega Food Park was established by the Union government there in Uttar Pradesh, a place called Jagdishpur. It would be developed by the assistance of Aditya Birla Group, right? So yes, another indigenous vaccine developed by India, that is called Genvac. It was also manufactured by Bharat Biotech in collaboration with National Institute of Virology and ICMR, that is Indian Council of Medical Research, and Bharat Biotech Limited. These two both at Hyderabad, and NIV in Pune. Okay. And Union Health Family Ram Nami inaugurated for that Genvac. Manish, yes, I'm so sorry. I don't, as I said time and again, I don't follow news on this particular social networking. So I'm totally weak in that. So yes, okay, Microsoft has not bought WhatsApp. It might be a joke. Okay, Union Cabinet, yes, Telangana. Important to know is that there are these districts which would be there, they're 10, right? The total of the 23 is 10 out of the 23 districts would be there. So these are the districts. So please have a name. You can actually find it on the net. Sports section, yes, you will have to take care of all the important events that is in boxing, chess, lawn tennis, cricket, of course. But then again, cricket, when I'm talking about, it's not necessarily about male cricket, the cricket team, but also about the female cricket team, the female World Cup cricket that was held, hockey, soccer, the Indian Cups, basically. So these would be there important from the point of view of chess. Sorry, from the point of view of sports. Okay. Yeah, women's championship, winner of chess championship, Magnus Carlsen. Magnus Carlsen is now fighting thanks, Shrey, all the best. Magnus Carlsen is now fighting a bitter battle with Vishwanathan Anand, and Vishwanathan Anand has now just lost the ninth game, right? The ninth game he has lost. So, yeah, so Telangana has been set up. These are the new district current affairs world. I think we all have done this. So group, do we need to discuss the current affairs of the world, or it's okay? Shall we call it a day now? In fact, call it a night now. JPC probe of 2G case, well, it is totally hush-hush. No one is talking about anything on it, right? Okay, current affairs. Quickly have a look at it. Postage stamp on the year of snake from China. Mohini, if there are certain more session planned, then yes, it can be taken out. Some light on KG Reliance issue. KG D6 block, which was taken by Reliance, wherein they promised that a certain level of thanks, Samarthan, that there would be certain amount of gas which would be definitely taken out from that particular area, and that basis that they were given the rights. Yes, Sagar, I'll quickly discuss some FDI also. Fine. Yeah. Thanks for that. Praveen, I have said earlier, elections, social networking, and Miss World and Miss India and all of that world I don't follow. So sorry for that political thing what is happening in the 5 states. But trust me, as far as written examinations are concerned, there is nothing that they ask from politics, right? No, Ayush, I don't think so. After revision, we would be discussing anything. If there is something arbitrary that is asked in the coming 10 minutes, we will take it. Maha, I am not sure whether this will be updated on the SIS. If it gets, then it would be fantastic because I'm not the one who does it. Okay. GDP and financial growth figures. Remember that this is you will not be asked questions on GDP and financial growth because they are very dynamic. You have got different rating agencies which keep on giving you different GDP figures. However, you should be aware that we are no more growing at the high level of 9% or 8%. We are somewhere languishing around 5.6%. I don't think 6 even. So that's around sub 6. That is 5.6% we are growing. We should be aware of our overall GDP on nominal basis is around $3 trillion, approximately $3 trillion. Yeah, yes, correct. Ayush, 5.5% by Fitch, but then again, other people keep on. So there are different versions of GDP growth also. Taglines of different companies would be too difficult for me to compile because there are so many companies. So I think you should keep your eyes and ear open because, to be honest, as a human being, I cannot give you taglines of all the companies. So keep discovering. Economic survey, not exactly from the point of view of. Not exactly from the point of view of written examination, but yes, economic surveys knowledge must be there as when you walk in for your group discussions and personal interviews. Okay, FDI limits. We are talking about someone is asking about FDI limits. Well, the FDI limits have also been revamped. Now we have got 100% FDI allowed in in single brand retail. Example, you have an Adidas, you have a Nike working in India, which is actually a single brand retail. So single brand retail has got 100% allowance. Telecommunication has also been increased. Praveen, yes, they would ask questions from budget, but then again, the budget would be presented next year. So by the time you would have got all your written examinations done. Right. Budget would be important from the point of view of your group discussion, personal interviews again. Right. Bharadwaj ji, discussing points of budget would be a big affair actually, because I had a different session, a separate session on budget session, so which was a lengthy affair in itself. So I cannot, present you the key points of the US budget. You can actually search it for yourself, so that would be great. But yes, don't expect many questions from the budget in the written examinations. Yes, group distance person interviews for sure. Right. Okay. Milos Zeman's Czech Republic president, right? You can quickly go through this. Cyprus has also seen. Hamadi Jebali, post prime minister of Tunisia, has gone. Hague, the Court of Arbitration has favored in favor of India and given a go ahead to India on the Kishan Ganga project, which was being built on uh, on the Jhelum River. Sagar, important areas of IFT and GK. You have companies, their brand ambassadors, books, their authors. You have questions from international geography. So that is when I'm talking about countries, capitals, likewise, questions from there. Remember, all of you, that in IFT, it is the cutoffs are very low. So even if you know 5-6 questions, just if you know 5-6 questions, attempt them, leave it. Right? Please don't attempt questions on your hunch, because that will not do any good to you. Right? Historically, the cutoff for the IFT session have been quite low. Last year being 1.66. So to achieve 1.6 is ideally, yes, it was 1.6. So ideally, even if you know 6 out of the entire lot, attempt those 6, finish it, and that's the easiest section. You know them or you don't. Okay. So this Kishan Ganga project, Gwadar Airport now handed over to China, which was in Pakistan. India's rank in latest World Press Freedom Index is 140. I would also suggest all of you to go through the Human Development Index report and discuss, and also check the rankings of India there. Fifth big summit held in Durban, which is over. The sixth one would be held next year in Falsbella in Brazil, as pointed out by someone in the forum. The BRICS summit. The first one was held at Yekaterinburg, Russia. And this is the fifth one that got over. Sixth one again would be held at Falsbella in Brazil. Joint military exercise Shanti Prayas 2 between Nepal and United States. 10 billion bailout for Cyprus, the country Cyprus. It was bailed out by the bailout was given by. If I'm down to 2 options, should I go for a question or no guessing at all? Abir, if you ask me, I am never a proponent of hunches. It might be a personal thing for me because my hunches never work. But then again, if you are good, if the lady luck is on your side, then go for it. But I would still suggest don't go for it, right? Because that one negative can take you down towards not clearing the cutoff. Right. So if you know it, it's a matter of 5-6 questions there. If you have read your newspapers regularly, if you have been connected to the world the right way, of course, then yes, you can answer 5 or 6 questions. Answering 5 or 6 questions in IFT GK section is a very easy task. Okay, so this is done. Then Kenya election, Uhuru Kenyatta becomes the Kenyan president. Right, his name has got Kenya, so you can actually deal out to check out his name. World's largest private yacht named Azam. It has overshadowed the earlier record, which was held by the famous Russian industrialist Roman Abramovich, who had an eclipse. So this is Azam now. Parasail Islands, apart from Senkaku and Diaoyu Islands, Senkaku and Diaoyu Islands are there in contention between China and Japan. And Parasail Island, it has got a contention with Taiwan and Vietnam. Right? China prefers to call it Zisha, while the world prefers to call it Parasail. Similarly, the island with Japan, they prefer to call it Diaoyu, and the Japanese prefer to call it Senkaku. Thank you so much, Ayush. Italy gets a new prime minister, Enrico Letta, and yes, the president now is Giorgio Napolitano. And Silvio Berlusconi, despite of all those fantastic feats that he did, that he took, he's still there in the government as deputy prime minister. Largest biogas plant in the world is now there in Finland. It's not in India, it is there in Finland. It was, by the way, it was never there in India. Falkland Islands, which Britain, the UK and Argentina had a tiff with over the ownership of this island, has now gone to to the Britishers after a referendum was done. Basically, the people were asked where they wish to go, and they voted that they wish to join the UK. Thank you, Sachin. Result of Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro is the winner now. Venezuela also saw, as pointed out by people in the forum, that it saw the Miss World or Miss jo bhi hai, whatever. I don't follow Miss World and Miss Universe. So whoever that is, please check. She is also from this particular country. Yeah, Miss Universe, good Sagar. I could get that. India and Malta signed a new DTA at Valletta. Valletta is the capital of Malta. Malta is the capital. Is the country there in European Union. And DTA stands for Double Tax Avoidance Agreement, wherein two countries come together, sign an agreement wherein a company which is operating in both the countries will not be paying taxes to both the countries. It will pay tax in one country and accordingly take an exemption from the other country. A primer to this particular news is also that India receives the highest FDI from a country called Mauritius. No US, no UK, but it is actually Mauritius. Pakistan election result out. You know that Nawaz Sharif party has won the elections. PMLN is the name of the party. So next we discuss Najib Razak, the PM of Malaysia. India and China pulled back. Okay, the name of the place was Daulat Beg Oldie sector. This is exactly the place where the C3 Globemaster landed. Okay. Yes, the world's biggest hydroelectric Inga Dam is coming on the Congo River, which will be constructed in the Democratic Republic of Congo, known as DRC. Presently, the world's biggest dam is Yangtze on the Yangtze River, called the Three Gorges Dam. And Croatia Yangtze is the longest river in Asia. Yes, Shrishti. It is the longest river in Asia. Good. That's a good one. Croatia is now the 28th member of European Union. Its capital is Zagreb. And what else? Earlier, yes, out of these 28 countries in European Union, only 18 use euro as their currency. Kevin Rudd was sworn in as new Australian Prime Minister, but now he is replaced by Tony Abbott. So I have included that in the coming slide. Earlier it was Julia Gillard. She was a lady. And Kevin Rudd. And from Kevin Rudd, it is now Tony Abbott. G8 Summit, that is the Group of 8, 39th edition of that was held at Lough Arne in Northern Ireland. So Group of 8, and these are the 8 countries that we have: Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, Russia, the US, and the UK. Hazem El-Babri, the new PM of Egypt. Interim president was Adli Mansour. And Mohammed El-Baradi. Now I have an addition to make there, that Mohammed El-Baradi is no more the vice president because he resigned after a lot of bloodbath that occurred in Egypt. So Mr. El-Baradi is no more the vice president of that particular place. However, Hazem El-Babri continues to be the prime minister of Egypt. The capital is Cairo. Runa Laila, the SAARC Goodwill Ambassador of HIV/AIDS. From Bangladesh, visited India. The same ambassadorship is given to Ajay Devgan from India and Sharmeen Obad Chinoy from Pakistan. So these 3 people are, thank you so much, Manish. You are welcome, all the best. So these 3 people have been conferred as the Goodwill Ambassador of HIV/AIDS, and they have visited India. Japan unveiled its biggest warship called Izumo. Not much, but they can ask you what is the name of the ship which was unveiled. That is Izumo. I also mentioned at that point of time that Liaoning, Liaoning, is the aircraft carrier that China has got. India has recently inducted Admiral Gorshkov by the name of INS Vikramaditya as its Liaoning, Liaoning, Sagar. Okay, and China has blocked the. Okay, this was a big controversy there. New Zealand company called Fonterra, which is a global dairy giant, was asked by China to stop sending milk powder to it because it was contaminated by Clostridium botulinum. And China and Pakistan they are yet to hold their joint air exercise called Shaheen, and that is Eagle 2. And yes, Turkey opened up its first transcontinental underwater link. That is Tony Abbott, one in Australian Prime Minister. I was talking about the transcontinental underwater link between 2 continents, so between Asia and Europe on the Bosphorus Strait. this is the particular rail link between these two continents. It is known as the Marmaray Tunnel. And yes, United Nations Security Council elected 5 new non-permanent members, and they are like Chad, Chile, Lithuania, Nigeria, and Saudi Arabia. However, recently Saudi Arabia has rejected the seat, saying that it is an elitist and organization wherein the power is just there in the hands of the permanent members. However, no official communication has come from Saudi Arabia on this. And that is it from the presentation from this side. I hope I was able to do some justice. Thank you, all of you, and all the best. Good night.